Hello everyone and welcome on The Papier de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you some mimosa flowers. I'm really sorry for last week's video, it didn't happen. I didn't have the time to edit the video properly and I wasn't happy with my painting. It can happen and that's why there wasn't any video last week, but here I'm back and very happy with this one. Enjoy! I know that I've painted some mimosa just a year ago, I think, and it was quite a nice video too, but I wanted to paint them another time just because I see the mimosa in real life for the first time here in Barcelona, and I'm very happy to be able to see that tree in nature. So as I'm really inspired by what I see, I did have to paint it again, even if you have another version already on my channel. So I'm starting my first layer very blurry, without any details. I just want the color to be right and the energy to feel right also. So for the color I'm using nickel Azur yellow as my main yellow, just because it's a perfect yellow for mimosa. It's a little bit cold but not too much, and it's really brilliant and vivid, and I love this color so much. And I add to this yellow a tiny bit of Aussie red gold, just to add a little bit of warmth to this cold yellow, and to vary a little bit the color from time to time. And with this two yellow, I'm adding just two blue and one violet to this panel of color, just because I want to keep things quite simple. And for the blues, I'm adding Azur Cobalt and Cobalt blue, just because these two blues are very granulating and they are very interesting with my two yellow, and lavender is a perfect contrast color for Aussie red gold and nickel Azur yellow. And it's also a little bit granulating, so I keep this texture effect that I want. As you can see, I'm using my finger to paint, and it's just because my last video about painting with watercolor without brushes, I try to paint with my fingers, and I did like it a lot. And when I was painting my last video, I was thinking that the shape I was able to make with my finger is a perfect shape for mimosa. So I wanted to try paint mimosa again with my finger to get this fuzzy ball of mimosa very easily, and as there is less paint on my finger, the size of the ball is changing also. So it's very interesting, and I'm able to paint in a very natural way, and I like that a lot. And I'm still using just nickel Azur yellow, but as my palette is a little bit dirty, there is traces of Aussie red gold or some greens also in my nickel Azur yellow. So the color is changing depending on where I was getting my color from. So it's a very nice way also to vary a little bit the colors, just using the dirt in some sort of my palette. I'm also making a lot of random marks to signify the leaves of the mimosa with a dagger brush, a quite fine dagger brush. I'm using the small I have, just because I get very fine line with it, and as leaves of mimosa are really fine and intricate, so I think it's a good choice of brushes. And in order to not add too much colors to my painting, I'm just mixing nickel Azur yellow with Azur Cobalt to get the greens. And as I want greens a little bit darker, I'm also using Cobalt blue with nickel Azur yellow. I really like the combination of Azur Cobalt and Nickel Azur Yellow, or Cobalt Blue with Nickel Azur Yellow, just because the two Cobalt colors are a little bit opaque, not too much, but a little bit, so I get very soft greens with it, also a little bit opaque and also granulating, and it's a very interesting texture and I love it. Even if it's my second layer, I'm not going too much into the details, just because I want an impression of Mimosa more than a realistic Mimosa. I want this explosion of colors. I want my yellow to be very vivid and bright, and it's just I want to build my colors with contrast so that they are very singing together in some sort. That's why I've used lavender in my first layer, because I know that lavender will make my yellow pop a little bit more and make things a little bit brighter. I'm really sorry for my head picking in the image. I'm still figuring out my setup. It's a little bit different than the one I had in Stockholm, just because I'm able to paint standing up, and my camera is a little bit higher than it used to be, so I never know when my head is in the way or not. I'm sorry for that. But anyway, you can see that my painting is very messy right now, and that's just what I want, so I'm very happy with it. I will let this layer dry a little bit and I will talk you through my supplies. So for the brushes, I'm using an Escoda Aquario number 18 and a silver brush black velvet 1/4 inch in a dagger shape. And for the colors, I'm using Cobalt Blue, Azur Cobalt, Aussie Red Gold, Nickel Azur Yellow, Lavender. And my paper is Canson héritage in rough. For the last step of my painting, I will just add some tiny details just to get some part a little bit more realistic so that you can understand my painting, and also a little bit of contrast in some area that was lacking stronger color in some sort, so everything will be a little bit brighter and vivid. So what I'm doing right now is just adding some tiny little lines around the round shapes of Mimosa so that you can get the fuzzy feeling of the flower. And I'm using Aussie Red Gold and Nickel Azur Yellow in the same mix, so that I can have a different tone of yellow in each flower, so that there is a little bit of shape to it. And I'm also adding some more greens to the foliage, so that also it appears a little bit more in shape, and there is a depth to it. Even though I did have paint this subject a year ago, it was very comforting for me to be able to paint it again. Of course, I was inspired by what I am able to see in Barcelona right now, but it's also comforting to be able to paint a subject that I love and I feel at ease with it. Sometimes it's also okay to try new things, but right now I'm a little bit in doubt with my painting, and I'm not sure of which direction I want to go with my painting. So painting a subject that I like is comforting, and it makes me a bit more in phase with my art. And anyway, I'm really happy with this painting. I think it's a really nice one, and I love the color of this one. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching and I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about this painting and tell me what you think in the comments. See you soon.